Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So I'm here to do the Q&A video that I mentioned a few weeks ago. So I got a whole heap of questions. Some of them were repeats. So I'm just going to go through the questions in no particular order. Okay, so the first question is, how long have you been in Australia and how many languages do you speak? I've been in Australia for 26 years now. I came here when I was almost 5 years old, did all my schooling here, and I'm now 31, so yeah, 26 years. And I speak English and I also speak Cree. I have learned Japanese before. I've also learned Indonesian and also German when I was in school. When will you make your 2-year natural update video? Well, my 2 years is coming around in July, so when the time comes, I'll definitely update you all. How old are you and how tall are you? Like I said, I'm 31 and I'm 5'3". Okay, one of you also wanted to know how much do you weigh. The last time I weighed myself, I think I was 74 kilos, but I haven't weighed myself in a very long time. I try not to get obsessed with, the numbers on the scales, because sometimes you can be eating right, exercising right, doing everything right, but the numbers don't change. And it can get really frustrating. So I don't really weigh myself. For me, I use my clothes to measure whether I'm putting on weight or whether I'm losing weight. And I also use a measuring tape and do my measurements. So I'll measure my waist, my hips, and that's kind of how I gauge my weight. Would you consider doing a mum tag? I'm not sure if my mum is up for that. I definitely would do it, but I need to ask her. What do you do for a living? I am a teacher by profession. I went to uni and did a 5-year degree. It was actually a double degree, and I got my Bachelor of Education Arts and majors in music and English. So when I'm not doing YouTube, I am teaching. What made you want to become a teacher? Well, I didn't have dreams of being a teacher when I was younger, but when I graduated from high school, I knew I wanted to do something in the music realm. But my dad, being the wise man that he is, advised me that pursuing a music career may not be that viable, especially, in a country like Australia where black people are the minority and it's really hard to break into certain areas. So he said, combine your love of music with teaching, because there's always going to be teaching jobs. So that's kind of how I fell into teaching. And I'm glad that I did it, because I actually do love to teach. I love music, but I love to teach music as well, especially, vocals. So yeah, that's how I got into teaching. Will you continue to vlog, post videos when you relocate to Ghana? Yes, I definitely plan to continue my YouTube channel while I'm in Ghana. YouTube is like now a part of my life. I don't think I'll wake up any day soon and say I don't feel like filming. Yeah, it's just become a part of who I am, and I love filming videos. I love interacting with you guys. So yes, that will definitely continue. What is your goal or purpose for having a channel on YouTube and other social media? Okay, so that's a good question. For me, this whole YouTube thing started off as a hobby. I was bored. I had been watching videos for a very long time, and one day I decided I can do this too, so that's what I did. However, over the last few years, I've definitely seen how YouTube and social media can be beneficial. For me, it's about building my brand and getting my face out there, because YouTube is not going to be my life. I want to use this as a platform and as a foundation to build on and do other things. I definitely will go into some kind of business in the beauty, hair, fashion industry. When I move to Ghana, that's definitely something I want to look into and explore. And YouTube, social media has allowed me to build my brand, get my face out there. People know who I am now. So that will really help when you're ready to launch something. So definitely for building your brand. What is your faith and what are some of the things you are involved with your church? I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so I go to church on Saturday. What do I do in my church? I'm leader of the youth choir, and anything to do with music, I often get asked. Any advice on how a woman should conduct and carry herself? Okay, that is a big question, because the world we live in today, women are encouraged to be a lot of things. For me, I just think it's really important to always conduct yourself in a manner that is pleasing to God, pleasing to your family, and then pleasing to yourself. Because if we are to follow what the world tells us to do, it can get quite crazy. Like, there are no moral compasses today. Like, anything and everything goes. And it's really scary how this generation is. I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and I actually said to her, man, we're gonna have to instill some serious values and morals in our children, because the world out there, you know, exposes them to so much. They have access to so much. So the foundation at home has got to be so solid that when they go out into the world, they're not swayed and they're not tempted and they're not caught up in everything that the world is telling them to get into. Any advice on how to stay positive and reduce depression? Okay, that's a good question as well. For me, I really try and focus on the good things in my life, because look, life can get you down and life can be depressing and things may not be going the way that you want it to go, but at the end of the day, you're alive. That alone is a reason to be happy. You know, focus on the good things that you have in your life. Surround yourself with positive people. For me, family is so important. I get so much strength and just good vibes from my family. So I'm always surrounded by my family and friends, you know, people who love me and who value me and, you know, who want the best for me. Don't get caught up too much in what others are doing, because there's always going to be someone doing better than you. And, you know, when you look at yourself and compare yourself to them, you're like, oh, you know, why is my life like this? So try not to compare yourself with others. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but you really have to focus on you, focus on the good things about you. What attributes do you have that, you know, are great? That's kind of the things I would advise you if, you know, you're going through, you know, the valley. How is the Ghanaian African community there? What's on your bucket list? Do you have any hobbies? I love to sing. I love to listen to music. I play the piano. What else? I love to do hair as well. What's on my bucket list? I don't really think there's anything that is so pressing that I want to do. That may change later on, but right now I'm pretty okay. And the Ghanaian community here in Brisbane is actually quite small. Brisbane's one of the smaller communities. You go to Sydney and Melbourne and there's a larger amount of Ghanaians there. Brisbane is small, mainly you know, parents with younger kids. There aren't a lot of Ghanaians my age, so like the youth, but I'm not too fazed by it. You know, I've got my family, so yeah, I'm not too bothered. But we do have scheduled events, you know, every year. We celebrate, you know, Independence Day, we have a Christmas party, we celebrate Republic Day, you know, there are soccer matches, and these are events organized by the Ghanaian Association. So it allows Ghanaians to get together here, you know, meet new people and interact with other Ghanaians. Where can you buy ankara fabrics and ankara clothes made directly from Ghana online? I know there are online stores and Etsy stores where you can purchase already made ankara pieces. I'll leave some of those links down below, but I'm actually not sure of places that come directly from Ghana. Sorry. In one of your older videos, you said you forgot how to speak Twi when you were younger and you had to teach yourself. How did you do that? Okay, so that is true. When I first came to Australia, I spoke Twi because I'd come from Ghana. I don't think I actually spoke any English at all. So I learned English because I did school here. But what was happening was we were getting a lot of people migrating from Ghana to Australia. And whenever these new people would come, our place was kind of the central place where, you know, everybody came through. So I met kids my age and they spoke Twi, I spoke English. So it was through the interaction with them that I started picking it up, but I was a lot younger back then. And then when I finished high school, I went to live with some family friends, and they spoke a lot of Twi to me as well. So that kind of continued it on. But then I've always had an interest in learning Twi again, because I knew that when I went to Ghana, I wanted to fit in. And one of the best ways to fit in is to be able to speak the language. So, you know, watching movies, listening to music, and, you know, when you oversaturate yourself with something, you slowly start picking up on it. And now yeah, I'm fluent in Twi. Did you grow up in Ghana then move to Australia? How is Australia over there? I heard they have decent paying jobs with degrees and lots to do over there. So as I said before, I was born in Ghana, but I moved to Australia at a young age and I've grown up here all my life. How is it like over here? I mean, it's like, I guess, any other country in the world where you are an African living in that country. You're a minority, that's the biggest thing. In terms of racism and that kind of thing, I experienced a lot of that when I was younger because I was the first African kid in my school, you know, that kind of thing. You know, so yeah, every name in the book I've been called. As I've gotten older, it doesn't bother me because I know who I am. Every now and then you get ignorant comments, but you know what? A lot of Australians I feel have not traveled outside of Australia. So when I get the chance, I will school them on what it's like to live in Ghana, because I get a lot of comments like, oh, you must be happy to, you know, leave your country and be in a peaceful country like Australia. And I'm like, no, Ghana is actually a good country. It's peaceful. I'm here by choice, you know, that kind of thing. Ever given the opportunity, just use it as a teaching moment, and that's what I do. Now, in terms of decent paying jobs, yes, I feel like in Australia you get paid pretty well. Even the minimum wage is quite good, but if you have a degree and you know you're working full-time in corporate, you know, teaching, that kind of thing, yeah, you can make a nice amount of money. And if you're good with your saving habits, yeah, you can save a lot of money. How do you stay so composed, and also what career advice would you give a young woman on improving her finances or possibly increasing and saving tips, please? How do I remain so composed? I don't know. I really think that God has given me an extra portion of composure because I rarely lose my cool. I just feel like nothing is ever that serious for me to lose it, you know. And if I do want to get something out, I kind of, you know, remove myself from an audience and maybe do it in my room. You know, I have those moments in my room, but for the most part I like to have a face that is, you know, well put together and, you know, create the illusion that you've got it all together. Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. Like, not everyone has to see what you're going through. So that's kind of what I do. In terms of improving your finances, for me, it's just about putting money away. Every time I get paid, I put some money away for this. I have a certain amount that I will allow myself to spend. But I can tell you that when I was younger, like in my early 20s, I definitely was a lot more reckless with my money. I was buying things here and there, didn't bat an eyelid. Now that I'm older, I wish I had the thinking I have now back then, because I would have saved a lot of money. So yeah, just be smart about how you spend. Just because you want something doesn't mean you need it. And we live in a world that is just all about consumerism. They constantly want you to buy things. So you just got to know when to check yourself and not get that additional pair of shoes because you've got 4 other pairs that look the same. Also for me, I am all about a bargain. I will wait for a sale to come on. I almost refuse to pay for anything full price. That's how much of a frugal person I am, because I used to work in retail and I know that at some point they will reduce the price because they got to get next season's stock in. So they've got to slash the prices, 50% off, a further 25%, a further 75%. I just wait for the sales. I don't mind being behind the trend because I'm not going to get something just because it's popping at that time, because I just refuse to pay certain amounts of money for certain things. So yeah, I definitely love a sale and I always look for the bargains. How did you discover your love and interest for fashion and beauty? How do you come across so confident? I think I've always loved beauty and fashion. I remember from a very young age, I loved getting dressed up for church, wearing heels. My dad always took pictures of me when I was younger. So I think the interest started early, but I think being on YouTube definitely brought that passion out even more. And in regards to how I remain confident, you know, I have a really solid upbringing. You know, my parents have been amazing in the way that they've raised me. They've instilled, you know, values in me. And you know what, despite on what others may have said about me, you know, in the past, I've always known who I am. So I feel like nobody can tell me about me because I know me. So that's kind of how the confidence has come about. I feel like sometimes as women we put our self-worth and our confidence in other people, and it opens it up for so much things to happen. So you really have to have self-love, have self-esteem, you know, be confident within yourself, so when you step out of your house, nobody can tell you nothing. As you get older as well, you know, certain things just don't faze you. People don't faze you like that, so you're not really bothered by others. Okay guys, so I'm gonna leave it there because my battery is about to die. So I'm gonna do a part 2, and in that part 2 it's gonna be about relationships, the wedding and the marriage that you guys are also keen to hear about, things to do with Ghana as well. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.